The one aspect I truly love about my work as a leadership and personal development coach and trainer is that it allows me to support people on their way to achieving meaningful goals. It's tempting to believe that once there's clarity about what these goals are, all it takes is defining a path to get from where we are today to where we want to go, to define strategies and to then follow through with action. Now, based on my experience, however, that is only part of the equation. Whatever we aim to achieve, our success will not only depend on having the right strategies and making a disciplined effort to put these into practice, it will also, and to a large extent, be a function of the beliefs that we hold. Beliefs about ourselves, what we are capable of, our potential, as well as beliefs about what we think others expect from us. A belief is something that we consciously or subconsciously assume to be true. And as we allow it to spread, it affects our feelings, our behavior, and our ability to succeed at work and in life. Now, unfortunately, I've seen far too many people carrying around toxic, limiting beliefs that stand in the way between them and whatever they aim to achieve. But this doesn't have to be you. Join me as we explore 5 very prominent toxic beliefs, the problems they typically cause at work and in our career, and most importantly, what we can do to reframe them. And I have to tell you, many of these beliefs I had to overcome myself throughout my 15 years corporate career, and once I started to coach others, I realized that there was actually some common patterns. So I'm very happy to share my learnings with you. And if we haven't met, my name is Sabine. I'm a former investment banker, now organizational psychologist, leadership and personal development coach and trainer. And on this channel, I share proven and actionable tips, tools, and strategies to empower aspiring leaders to take the lead and succeed at work and beyond. Okay, so now let's get started with one, if not the one most universal limiting beliefs actually many people have, which is I'm not good enough, which is also known as I don't have what it takes. Now, how to find out whether this belief is at play in your career? Well, think about a time when you wanted to take a major leap in your career. Maybe change career paths or apply for a higher position, go back to university, or maybe even start your own business. Whatever it was, how easy was it for you to move forward into rather unknown territory? Did you confidently take the first step, trusting that you will find a way, that you can grow into this? Or did you hesitate because you had doubts about your ability to figure things out, you worried about not being smart and capable enough, or were actually paralyzed by the fear of failure? The costs of this belief are tremendous, as it so easily can cause us to get stuck and remain in our known zone of comfort, instead of tapping into our potential to get ahead and to really achieve what truly matters to us. So what can we actually do to unstuck ourselves? Whenever you catch yourself thinking along the lines of, I don't have what it takes, I'm not capable to do, I don't know how to do, well then, simply add the word yet. By adding yet, you not only acknowledge that you have the potential to grow, develop, and figure things out, you also turn a rather limiting thought into an empowering and uplifting one that will increase your sense of self-efficacy, resilience, and your ability to successfully achieve your goals. Adding yet opens actually the pathway of a learning journey, and the more frequently you allow yourself to follow such paths, you will, as a side effect, enhance your active learning capabilities, which according to the most recent World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report is among the top 3 cross-functional skills demanded by employers. Our work lives have become incredibly fast-paced when it comes to innovation and changes in technology, and that consequently oftentimes means that the moment we want to lean into something new, we actually have to elevate our skill set. So instead of letting this belief, I'm not good enough, limit us, we should actually say, yes, I have a lot to learn here, so let me get started. And instead of zooming in on our deficiencies and everything that we may lack, why not actually look at the strengths that we have, all that we can actually offer and bring into this, the resources that we have available to get started. In the far majority of cases, there is more than one path to Rome, and leaning on our strengths is typically a much more promising path. Belief number 2 is, whatever I do, it needs to be perfect. Perfectionism is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it motivates us to perform at a high level and to deliver really top quality results. On the other hand, perfectionism can cause us to slow down, cause unnecessary anxiety, or in the worst case, hinder us from getting started at all. The problem with perfectionism is that we oftentimes get actually recognized and rewarded for the end result, which then makes it even more tempting to remain on that path of perfectionism, irrespective of how unproductive and inefficient the process that got us there has been. Because let's face it, being perfect isn't easy. Delivering the perfect result can be incredibly time-consuming and resource-intensive. The question is, are we actually using our resources in the most effective way, and what opportunity cost do we have to pay as we are sweating the small stuff and polishing every little detail? A good question to ask oneself before getting started with any task is, what will be the needle movers for this assignment? Which factors will be the most important impact-wise? If we don't know because we lack the respective experience, it might be worth checking with somebody who knows, our manager or an experienced colleague. And once we have that clarity, we can then make a conscious decision to focus on these factors and get them right while allowing ourselves some leeway in other areas. Belief number 3 is that it is unacceptable to say no to the requests of others. Saying no to requests at work can feel incredibly daunting, in particular during the early days of our careers, when we're actually afraid of the potential consequences that a no could have. What might people think of us? Are we not working hard enough? Or maybe are we simply not dedicated enough? Saying no is unfortunately rarely simple nor straightforward, causing many of us to put far too much on our plates as a result of the subconscious pressures that are at play. Saying yes oftentimes feels so much easier, but doing so too often for the sake of pleasing others comes at a tremendous cost. Not only does it put us at risk of overloading ourselves and eventually possibly burning out, it could also impact our ability to actually stay on top of the projects and tasks that have been assigned to us early on, which, as you can imagine, will then have consequences not only for us, but also for our team, our manager, and the organization. Saying no is therefore not only about keeping ourselves sane in an overloaded workplace, it is also, and equally importantly, about making sure that our resources are allocated in a way that our efforts yield the highest impact and are in line with the priorities of our organization. And this then actually offers us an opportunity to negotiate what to prioritize first and in which order to tackle projects and tasks. And by doing so, others will realize that saying no is actually not a reflection of our attempt to avoid work at all, but instead of our ability to prioritize on what matters the most, a skill that becomes more and more valuable in today's busy work life. So start to hone it regularly. Belief number 4 is about thinking that disagreement is bad. Has it ever happened to you that somebody, maybe your manager, a colleague, or a client, said something to you in a meeting or proposed to take a certain action and you had a totally different point of view? But instead of expressing it and making your case, you remained quiet because you did not want to rock the boat, be considered to be difficult or a naysayer, or even worse, trigger a conflict? Well, I don't know about you, but it certainly happened to me early on in my career when these situations brought up some really uncomfortable feelings that were typically triggered by my fears of either hurting the perception that I thought other people had of me, or by my fear of harming the relationship. And maybe you too can relate. Disagreeing with others can leave us with a feeling of being unkind, offensive, or even rude. So maybe it's better to avoid it at all and remain in our zone of comfort. And while the zone of comfort can indeed feel very comfortable, it can also turn into a trap that comes at a very high cost, as it not only hinders us from expressing our point of view and concerns as well as our needs, it also causes us and the people we work with to miss the far-reaching benefits that diverse perspectives and ideas can have if they're handled well. The moment we start to share our perspectives and do so in a constructive way, we allow new, better thinking patterns and mutually acceptable, possibly even better solutions to evolve. By contributing our perspective, we have an opportunity to receive feedback, which we can then use to evolve our own thinking even further and to grow and learn. Leaning into the right kind of disagreement, one in which we allow our own thinking and those perspectives of others to be challenged in a constructive and a solution-oriented way, can help us not only in solving complex problems and coming up with innovative solutions, it can also be a super powerful tool to strengthen the relationship with others as we find a way to respect respectfully listen to different perspectives and bring those together. And in case you're not yet convinced, let's look again at the top 15 skills for 2025 as defined by the World Economic Forum. What do we have there? Well, we actually see analytical thinking and innovation, complex problem solving, and critical thinking and analysis are amongst the top 4 skills in demand. So there's actually a lot for us to win in terms of enhancing our career and leadership potential. How to disagree constructively? Well, I think in many situations it comes down to first of all accept that there is not the one right carved into stone answer, and to then, coming from a place of curiosity and openness, listen to the perspective of others. Consider and respect their opinion, and to then share your own with the mindset that what is really important is not to win the argument, but to come up with best possible solution. Belief number 5 is that I have to do it all by myself. This one is particularly limiting and toxic for people who are starting to move into a managerial or leadership role where, as a consequence of their new role and responsibilities, they are no longer meant to actually do everything themselves, but instead create a frame and environment which allows others to do the work and excel. It ultimately comes down to being willing and able to delegate work to others. But why is it that delegation is so hard for so many? Throughout the many conversations I had over the last 10 years with managers I met as a coach and trainer, I noted that there are 7 underlying reasons that come up that broadly fit into 2 categories. The first category is skill set related, and that is linked to either not knowing how to delegate or the people on the receiving end not being equipped to handle the task. And this is then actually a matter of seeking the right training. And because delegation is such an important skill in an effective manager's toolkit, I created an entire video on how to do it effectively. So if you feel this is something you want to get better at, have a look at this video. You'll find a reference at the end of today's video. The other category is mindset related, and that brings us to today's topic. Maybe we think we know best how to actually handle a particular task. Why instruct others? Let's just do it ourselves, it's much faster. Or maybe we are afraid of losing control. What if people mess up? We'd still be responsible. Or maybe we want to prove that we are here for a reason. Or sometimes we simply enjoy doing certain tasks and the sense of accomplishments that comes along with it. Now, if any of these thoughts sound familiar, allow me to offer you a different perspective. Our job as managers is to make sure that results can be delivered, but not by ourselves, by our people. How? Well, by taking care of and empowering our people and creating an environment in which people can not only perform well, but also develop themselves. That means that we have to be willing to let go of involving ourselves in operational tasks and focus more on leading people. This way, we not only ensure that our workload becomes much more manageable and that we have the time we need to really focus on our people, we also increase the engagement and motivation level of them if we delegate in the right way. And it sounds so easy, yet it can be so challenging, in particular for those who are used to pulling up our sleeves, getting the work done, and delivering results. And if we are honest, this is oftentimes exactly the reason why we moved up the ladder. But what got us here won't get us further. And mastering this mindset shift is absolutely key to our success as managers. Our ability to succeed at work and in life in general does not only depend on our skill set, it is to a large extent also based on our mindset. What we think drives our actions, and with these, we create the life and work that we experience. Watching our thought patterns is therefore extremely important. They can limit us or empower us, so let's choose wisely. I hope you find this video helpful. If you would like to receive more tips, tools, and strategies on how to take the lead and succeed at work and in life, hit the subscribe button to stay tuned. And if you would like to learn more about the power of your mindset, have a look at this video in which we explore the concept of a growth mindset and how it can help you advance in your career. And for further insights around effective delegation, have a look at this video. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.